Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys, it's just after 9 o'clock on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk, and we had a little trouble getting on the air tonight, but hey, we're here, man. You're here. Let's get it on. It's a crazy week in motorcycling. We're going to get into all of it. We've been in the shop. Hope you guys are too. I'm Chris Callan from Cycle Source Magazine, your host for the next 90 to 120 minutes, joined by my cohorts in crime, Heather Callan and Mark Persichetti. What's up, guys?
Hiya.
Hello.
What do you got going on, Mark?
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
They're all Mondays.
It's always Monday for Mark.
Oh, getting ready to do what I do. You
Right
know.
on.
And yourself, what are you doing? I came in. I
dude.
got here tonight to get ready and heard this god awful noise out in the driveway. I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
Dude, I have to tell you guys. So listen, I try not to cross pollinate my two different worlds, but today I had a really, really big honor. I've been playing bass for over 20 years now and guitar for even longer than that. But one of my absolute heroes on the bass guitar is a cat that we all grew up with, Bill Wiggin. And Billy is like one of the most amazing, if not the most amazing bass player
Definitely.
in the city of Pittsburgh. And he played with a band, Three Car Garage, that I followed around for quite a while. I even got the bass tech with Billy. But his music, man, Stingray, like it was just a legendary guitar. And I saw Bill out at a show last night, and he's not playing that guitar anymore. He moved on to some different stuff. He's playing a jazz bass and an old P bass and stuff. And I actually got to buy Billy's bass guitar. And like right before a gig with the Black Smoke Sinners, we're heading to Texas for that. So it was just awesome. It was a super great day for me. Like, the music part of what I do anyway.
You literally couldn't sleep last night because you were so excited. He was like a little kid on Christmas. He's like, can I play with it now? Can I play with it now?
So yeah, unfortunately,
You
when
meant the guitar, right?
unfortunately when Mark got here, I was busy at it.
You mean the guitar, right?
Yep.
Oh, I was wondering what that noise was.
All right, so hey, listen, man, this is Shop Talk coming to you live every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. We have a little bit of entertainment. We bust some balls. We look at the news. Generally 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit that we can fit. We bring on a guest or two. It's usually a good time, but it all starts, just like I said, with a thing we like to call the news. First up in the news this week, NHTSA. Back at it again, but this time reporting that USA motorcycle recalls drop in 2019. I don't want to be the one to point out the most obvious thing of the hour, but motorcycle sales have dropped in 2019 too, so this might not be a big surprise.
Do the math.
There's some good news in the motorcycle industry for manufacturers and riders, as reported by Adventure Rider, Ride the World. According to Motorbike Writer, only 27 motorcycles were recalled in 2019. 22 of those were Indian, but we'll get to that later. That figure is a significant decline from the year before. The outlet says that the previous year, 2018, saw 37 motorcycle recalls. These numbers reflect a 27% decrease from 2018. That's a significant change for the better. But until there's a downward trend in the number of recalls, it's not easy to say whether this is an indicator of better manufacturer quality or just a pleasant coincidence. Regardless, 2019 was a better year than 2018.
Everybody likes nice coincidence. So,
and buddy, you're not kidding that 2019 was better than 2018, because Jesus.
it was the thought that counted. Are they trying to make us feel better about it, or
It absolutely was the thought that counted. Hey, and speaking of the thought that counted, remember when Ford was the only manufacturer of automobiles that had a Harley-Davidson truck? That era is over.
all gone?
2020 Harley-Davidson GMC Sierra brings the iconic brand to a new truck.
I wonder if their point to this was because the F-150 was the top-selling truck, and now this GMC coming up, they're saying is really making a run for it. Are they doing it just to like switch their advertising?
I don't know. They're only making 250 of them.
I mean, it's not like they're on the floor. You have to order this truck.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. 250 will be made, so it's a limited number. Maybe it's just going to be like a collector's item. I don't know.
The ones out there already aren't collector's items. They break news them.
They
True.
were like for the first 2 trucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe the first few, or they do have a few special editions. I think that are really up there. But all in all, they're cool trucks. I mean, I'd drive any. If somebody's gonna buy me one, I'll take either. So
this actually
that's one we should get for a test ride.
For a test ride, yeah, absolutely. So this actually came in from Tony Markovich from the Auto Blog, and it says the Harley-Davidson Ford F-150 rides alone no longer. Thanks to the Tuscany Motor Company, it now has a fellow truck associate to cruise with side by side on open roads. Introducing the 2020 Harley-Davidson GMC Sierra, which will make its official debut in the 2020 Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale auction.
Ooh, speaking of Scottsdale auctions.
I know. Speaking
Holy
of auctions,
$95,000.
Oh yeah.
Holy jeepers.
Yes, sir.
and listen, just for a mere $110,000, that thing comes preloaded with your live wire motorcycle right in the back. So if you got it like that,
Just go for it.
put it out. I'm just saying.
It's crazy what they go for.
Oh, back to your recall. Aaron West says his brother's Tri-Glide was recalled 4 times in
Jesus.
2019 alone. 4 recalls for the same motorcycle in 1 year.
Hey, so if you wonder what Heather's referring to, if you look off to the side of the screen right now, Shop Talk does encourage you to be part of the conversation. This is not just you listening to some talking heads about motorcycle stuff. We want you to jump in there. So whichever social media platform you're hooked up on, put your comments in, whether we put them up on the screen like this or if Heather's bringing them to you. We'll get your questions, concerns, and complaints handled forthwith.
No complaints. I skipped the complaints. Let's see who's here tonight.
Yeah, what's up?
Let's see. Rob Bidos is here. Kim
Rob,
Kotler,
what's up?
Jason Sims, Tim Kearns, Anthony Robinson, Amy Keene, Dusty Pine, Mike Draco, Steve
Dusty,
Broyles.
so glad. I saw Dusty today on the post that we put up, was asking what time it goes live because he's been missing out the last couple weeks. So I'm glad to see you here, buddy.
Let's see. Tom Kiefer. Oh, Chris Ryba. He's one of my old friends from New Hampshire. Haven't talked to him in 100 years. Let's see. Rob first. Hello from McClenny, Florida.
McClenny?
I think that's how you say it. Tucson, Arizona, northern Minnesota, California, Long Island, Rockaway Beach, New Zealand. Gary King from New Zealand.
Right on. Probably.
That's on my
New
bucket
Zealand.
list.
Yeah. So I want to mention real quick that we're, in addition to coming out through all of the Cycle Source network, we're also coming to you live over the airways of Choppertown. We appreciate everybody at Choppertown embracing our little show and bringing us out to you guys. So give us a holler. Let us know where you're from. It's always a kick to see people from around the globe shout out. Back to the news for a minute. We were just talking about auctions. Elvis Presley's Harley-Davidson golf cart disappoints at auction with no bids.
So,
I think they were going for the birthday thing on top of the auction all at the same time, right?
but
Yeah.
do you think, like, the opening bid was $20,000?
I think they came in hot.
I think that was a little high.
I actually, at one point, you would text me through the day, and I was going to tell you that
Yeah.
I can't talk. It's King's birthday. If I can remember, but I forgot.
I'm having some birthday cake with the king.
Like,
King's birthday.
seriously,
You're gonna have to call
though,
me
if
back.
you have $20,000, like, Chris, if you had 20 grand, or Mark, if you had
No.
20 grand, would you spend it on a golf cart?
No, and even though it's Elvis's and the whole 9 yards, no, I'm like totally with you.
Well,
There's-
see, you have to put that in perspective.
That's it.
Would I sit in here now with a shop full of projects spend $20,000 on a golf cart? No. If you catch me at 4:30 in the morning in the back end of the Buffalo Chip,
no.
I'm at least going to spend $10,000 on a golf cart if I'm walking.
Well,
Chad Alvarez says he'd spend 8 grand on it.
Right.
Is that your bid, Chad?
All right, anyway, this comes in from PN. Unlike the Kings... Oh, what am I doing here? Let me get back to the story. Unlike the King Stretch Limo, last motorcycle and pickup truck, the Harley-Davidson golf cart did not do well at auction. In fact, it didn't sell for anything. Graceland Auctions had originally estimated it would sell for $60,000 to $70,000. However, no one placed a minimum bid of $20,000 on January 8th. It's reported Presley paid $1,055 for the cart. He used it to get around Graceland. The golf cart currently does not run, but That's
Again.
you're just
That's even worse.
You're just setting me up for a joke. You're just setting me up.
So it doesn't run, and they still wanted 20 grand for it.
I don't get it.
So it's powered by a 245cc two-stroke engine. The vehicle remains all original.
Apparently, it doesn't run. Nice of a brand. I'm gonna go. I'll take. Doesn't run for 50, Alex.
Hey, listen. So auction is the hot topic of everything right now. You know what did do well at the auction? Like actually set a record, and we were all watching for this to go down.
We called this shot.
The original Bullet Mustang, Steve McQueen's original Bullet Mustang, sold for a record $3.4 million just last week. This came in from the R&T. When Ford unveiled its new Bullet Mustang in 2018, it brought along one of the two original GT fastbacks used in the movie to drum up hype. That car, which has stayed in the family for the last 46 years, just sold at auction for $3.4 million, making it the most valuable Mustang on earth.
I wonder what made them decide to sell it after all this time.
$3.4 million. Are you paying attention here?
But at that point, you don't give a crap about. You know what I
Right?
mean? When you have
Oh,
cars
I
of
know.
that caliber, that
Yeah.
$3.4 million doesn't mean shit. You know?
But you know what might is having the title of the most expensive Mustang on earth.
That would be my say.
Yeah. So the car, a 68 model, is far from stock, was modified heavily for the movie. Heavy duty suspension to handle those jump scenes, as well as a little extra power, mounting points for cameras, was sold to an East Coast detective after filming wrap before being listed for sale in Road and Track's October 74 issue as the Bullet Mustang. The seller's father, Robert Kiernan, purchased the car for $3,500 and used it as his daily driver.
Yeah, he drove it every day for years.
That's awesome, man. So the other auction news that I'm talking about, the big auction news, is coming up here at Mielke. Actually, two of the most famous motorcycles on planet Earth. Not only Indian Larry's Chain of Mystery bike, but Indian Larry's Grease Monkey are going to be at Mielke. And man, like it's the hot conversation. Like people wondering, what could you even imagine? Like I want to hear from you guys. Put up in social media. Tell me what you could even imagine either one of those bikes going for. Like how would you put a price on it?
The nostalgic value of those two bikes. You know what I mean? Like I know we kid around. I've gone 20 paces with Bobby driving that Sprinter and thinking to myself, "Oh shit, don't mess up."
Yeah,
whatever
please
you
don't
do.
wreck now.
This would not be a good time to do something stupid. So
yeah, but I can't even imagine. I can't even. How would you even put a price on that? So
I'm excited to see where they end up.
Chad Alvarez, they both run, right? Yeah, I'm sure they both do.
Yeah, I've seen multiple people, well, a few in the crowd, ride those things, and they ride them like they own them. You know,
I think they'll go for $125 each. You know,
I'm going more than that.
And I'm thinking, like seriously, I'm thinking in that neighborhood maybe for the Chain of Mystery for Grease Monkey. Grease Monkey was that would be like buying Indian Larry's left leg.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there's no way you're getting that for 125.
Yeah.
Mike Draco says $500,000.
I'm saying they're going to be up there.
I'm saying for Grease Monkey in the twos.
200,000?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
I'm figuring, like I said, just the iconic value of these things. If you're into motorcycling history at all, I mean, these things are. This guy is one of the people who started the run that we've all been on for years. You know what I mean? I mean, look back and just sitting, you feel like we've been in this a long time. And probably one of my greatest moments was sitting in a booth in Laconia with English Dawn and Stag.
Oh my God!
And hearing the stories about the beginning of Larry, and just it's amazing.
So good.
Yeah, it's amazing where this has all come to. So I see them being big. So
Chris, wow, look at that! Chris No said he's going to be there with his checkbook. Aaron West says $350 for the pair. It's going to be interesting, and I mean, like the rest of the motorcycle news, we'll let you guys know.
I'm hoping the best for Bobby. I mean, if the point is to sell these profitability, I know it's gotta hurt to let them go, but God, I hope he knocks it out of the park with them.
Oh, and just like Dusty Pine said, I hope whoever ends up with them actually takes them out and rides them, because that would tickle Larry's ass. That'd be awesome.
Now I know they televise the car Meekums. Do they televise the motorcycle Meekums?
I don't know. I've actually been looking.
I don't know.
I wonder if
Anybody
there's a
from
way you
Meekum
can-
watching the show?
If
Yeah.
they do not, Jason or any of the guys that are going to be there, can you call and let us in on the
Yeah,
deal
or
when
hey,
it happens? That'd be killer.
Get with us and get it set up, and we'll go live. We'll bring it live through Grease and Gears or Shop Talk or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, man.
Oh,
So
Rob Nussbaum, he's
They
got
do.
two bikes going across the block.
let's switch gears just for a second. We have a lot of stuff to get through tonight. We're gonna take a real quick break and go through a couple items of note, and then we're gonna come back and do some products. So hang with us for 2 seconds. We'll be back with some more Shop Talk.
Hey, High Seas Rally, what's happening? It's Xavier with Providence Cycle Works in Austin, Texas. I hope everybody had a safe and a happy new year, and let's get to 2020. Here we go. So this is what we have going on. We have a cruise happening for the High Seas Rally December 3rd through the 7th, 2020. And on that cruise, we will be raffling off a motorcycle built by me for the Debbie's Diabetes Foundation. Now, through the entire year of 2020, every month I'll post progress on that frame. That's where it starts, but it won't look like that at the end. So stay tuned for all the information you'll need to get all of your tickets for not only the cruise, but for the raffle itself. It's a great charity, it's a great time, it's a great cruise, and stay tuned. We'll see you then.
Nothing to me is better than riding a motorcycle. When I'm behind the handlebars, nothing else really matters. Nothing else is on my mind. I'm just clean and focused, and all I want to do is ride my motorcycle. I like racing on dirt because when you race on anything else that's got maximum amount of traction, you're kind of limited to what the machine has to offer, whereas dirt is kind of more back in the hands of the rider. What I love about wrenching on my bikes is the zen. It creates a bond between me and the motorcycle, and it just gives me a chance to unwind. It's definitely my happy place. Growing up on bikes, I've learned that there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything, and you pretty much have to find the wrong way at least once. My favorite piece of gear is my Bell Moto 9 Flex helmet because it's light and it looks super sick. I'm Dan Jacobson, and I'm a Dennis Kirk rider.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris from Cycle Source Magazine, Grease and Gears TV. We're in the garage today and trying out some new tools. Motion Pro. Love all of our Motion Pro tools in the shop. Just got this from them the other day. I know Roadside Marty is dying to have one of these. The clutch spring compression tool. We were just laughing before we actually got on camera. There's 102 ways to do this hokey and backwoods. I've never had a nice fancy tool for this, so this is going to be interesting. Compresses the clutch down so that you can get the retaining spring out. And there you go. Nice and easy. Now all the clutches come out, primary comes off. Motion Pro, go check them out online. Tons of great tools. We are quickly filling up the toolboxes here in the Grease and Gears garage. I'm Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. See you on the flip. Yeah, buddy. And I know all 102 hillbilly ways to do shit like that. I'll tell you right now.
While you were doing that little bit of business, they do air that live, and also on YouTube. So we should be able to keep our eye on that over the course of the.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comments coming in. Everybody was hooking us up with the information about that. So whenever Meekum's going on, because of the motorcycle content that's happening, we'll definitely be bringing to you guys in one way or another in some kind of live format.
I want to go. We should just go. Just go and bid on it.
What else you got from social media before we go back to the news?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I could handle the excitement. I bid $2.
All right, done with you. Back to the news. This in the news coming in from Racer. The Good Ride, you guys all familiar with the Good Ride, reprises Tanks for Troops silent auction. Motocross legend turned off-road off-road career, Carrie Hart's charity, The Good Ride, has announced the return of its Tanks for Charity auction. Hosted in conjunction with Big B Indian Motorcycles and Fox Racing, the auction features custom-paid Indian motorcycle FTR 1200 tank covers, to raise funds for the Infinite Hero Foundation, which offers wide-ranging support to military personnel and veterans and their families. Bidding goes live on Thursday, January 9th. Will close at 9 p.m. on the 16th with 24 Indian motorcycle tank covers designed by various artists. These works of art range in style from tattoo and motorsports to fine art and military-inspired pieces. Good job for them, man. That's awesome.
Right on.
Yep. Next up in the news. Oh, that was already in the news. We already talked about that. This from the Black Hills Pioneer. Sturgis Rally Charities present $40,810 to local nonprofits. Now, this is, when you're in Sturgis and you're feeling like, wow, like we're super hard on the yards, the infrastructure, the townspeople, but there's so much good that comes out of Sturgis, not just to the tax base, not just to the businesses that are there, both part-time and full-time businesses, but it goes on and on. Like there's so much outreach that happens, and we bring this on the show just to point out some of that. This year we have about $500,000 funding, what we usually give due to the circumstances that have happened. We just don't have the funding, and this was one of the toughest years to divide up the available money with over $223,000 requested. Marcia Johnston, SRC president, said each charity that received a grant shared what funds would be used for how it helped area families and organizations. SRC has provided $935,700 to local charities since 2002. Funds have come from various sources, with the largest contributions from Sturgis Motorcycle Rally Incorporated with $403,000, and the city of Sturgis with sponsorships $226,428.
Well, isn't that wonderful?
It is.
I'm reading through these comments, and I noticed that Heather had mentioned hopefully Rebecca's eye heals. I think we should send her a helmet. We should send Rebecca a full face helmet
for when she works on the
cars.
She needs one of those ones like the goalies in hockey use, though, dude. I mean, like,
hey, she said she texted me a while back and told me she's addicted to caramel macchiatos now, and I told her it's better than crack and hookers. You know what I mean? So she had to thank me for that. So. I hope you're doing better, Rebecca. I hate to see you. Beating yourself up working on your car.
Rob Nussbaum says we should go to the auction.
Oh, I'd love
Rob
to.
from Retrocycle.
Yeah, I would love to be at the auction.
Awesome.
JC Guns, I have a friend named T-Bone who works for Meekum. If you want, I can give you his number to get you all your information.
Right on.
Right on.
So I was saying earlier that we have a ton of stuff to go through tonight, and one of them, man, is one of our favorite guests here because he's always fantastic conversation. Joe Mielke from SnapFab is coming in,
buddy.
And we're actually gonna talk to Joe about something brand new that he's yeah, thanks y'all, Rebecca says. We love you. We're just busting balls. But Joe has something brand new going on with Sturgis this year, so we're going to get to that in just a minute. Real quick, I want to give you guys an update on the Twisted Tea Barber. You guys know that Twisted Tea is one of our longtime sponsors, and we love Billy from Twisted Tea to death and beyond.
I actually have a Twisted Tea Cycle Surf shirt on right now.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Well, break that out, man.
Break that bitch out.
But we're actually in the process. We just started tearing the Twisted Tea donor bike down, and little bit by little we're going to start unveiling to you guys what it is that we're building. But here's a quick update. Okay, hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Grease and Gears Garage, and we're working on... Somebody tell that dum-dum to quit introducing himself. Twisted Tea giveaway bike. You got the first episode when we started tearing everything down. We now actually have the motor up on the table. This is about all the parts we kept from the rest of the bike. We have the frame going together right now. Looking at some options for wide glide front end. We're just trying to take a lot of the dirt and the years of enjoyment off of this motorcycle, off the motor. And should go pretty good. First thing we're going to do with this, I talked to you guys last show and told you that this is an 883. The first thing we want to do is bump it up with S&S 883 to 1200 kit. The kit that we're using is pretty neat because it says no machine shop, no problem. So I'm curious once we get into that how it goes. But this is where we're at right now with the 2020 Twisted Tea giveaway bike. Stick around. I'm Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. It's like I'm afraid sometimes that I'll forget my own name.
Or that somebody won't know that you're actually Chris from Cycle Source Magazine.
It's just habit. Hey, Chad Alvarez says there's a guy on Facebook named Charlie Fegan. He runs Harley Davidson Flea Market. He's going to raffle a custom Civil Liberty bike, doing a plug run for a good cause. It's a beautiful bike. Check that out. Yeah, but the Twisted Tea bike, we're going to be doing... Oh, there's Anthony Robinson. We got our coffee going on, baby. Look, right here. That's what's up. So, the Twisted Tea bike, we're going to be doing episode after episode in short order because we have from now until Daytona to have that bike ready to roll onto the truck and get to the beach.
How many days is that?
It's not enough for you to start telling me how many days we have left. Well, I don't, especially with this much coffee in me this late at night. So
Let's call Joe.
Yeah, let's do that. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Joe while I get him loaded up?
Oh, Big Joe. Big Joe is the owner, operator, and instructor for Snap Fabrications based out of South Dakota. He recently moved his operations to the property at the legendary Buffalo Chip, where he has opened up his fab shop and has begun offering metal shaping classes. We've had Joe on our Grease and Gears garage stage several times before, where he has taught smaller segments on how to hand shape metal, and he's done some pretty cool stuff. He's a good teacher. He's a good conversation. He knows a lot about a lot, and I know we always enjoy talking with him. So is that supposed to be a little about a lot about a little, or a little about a lot?
Let's call Joe.
He's a good conversation.
Hello.
Joe, what's up, baby? You're live on Shop Talk.
How we doing, Chris?
Excellent, man. Excellent. So glad to talk to you. We were just saying before we called you up, like you're one of our favorite guests from time to time to have on the show because of the conversation that you always bring here, man.
Well, I know you and we always end up having a conversation.
Right.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Heather.
Hey,
Joe.
How are you? Love your hat, dude. I want one of them Snap Fab hats. I got to get me one of them.
Yeah,
bitches.
buddy.
Every time I see that shifting knob, I want to grab a hold of that bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's a cool hat.
That's what she said.
So
Exactly. I rest my case. That's it. Good conversation.
before we get down to like the business of it, Joe, I have to tell you, you did a post a few days ago, or I don't even know how many, of a new year, new skill, and you've been working on your sketches.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you're good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
You're really good.
Well, thank you. It's something that I used to draw a lot when I was younger, and I haven't done it in a long time.
And a great person to pick to do it of.
Oh, he's done several, and I mean they're just great. Like your Stevie Ray Vaughan one, you killed
Yeah,
it.
buddy.
Yeah, that one. I'm happy with that one. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I'm just inspired by a lot of people that are great artists and get to see their work every day through social media. You know, one of them being my own sister. You know, and she's a hell of an artist, and friends like Darren. You know, and his pinstripe and artwork. You know, those people inspire me every day, and
Well, I think it's great, and I love how you
that
did
kind of stuff. That just
Yeah, I love how you did New Year, New Skill. I think you'll see that you inspire a lot of people with that too. So.
And how do you find the time? I mean, Christ, you do all kinds of shit. Like it's crazy how you find the time to sit down and do that. It's got to be. Do you sleep?
Well, that's the benefit of living where you work.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling. So
Yeah, there's always time to do something. You know, and there's so much stuff to do.
what's cool because you're like one of those people that everything you touch you master. You're like really, really good. You put so much passion into everything you do. It's like so cool.
I
to see your projects.
Yeah, I can't say that I master.
I'm saying it
any
for
of
you.
that stuff.
I'm good. I got you covered. So
I tell people that my hobby is collecting hobbies.
yeah,
You know,
well, we have that
I-
covered too. So
I get bored with things easily, and then I'll go on to the next thing and try that for a while until I get bored of it, and then hop on to the next thing. So that's why I end up doing so many different things, and just the way.
Are you related to
the way-
Chris?
I'm glad you have a
No,
short
listen,
attention
he's
span.
he's
So-
he's got way more talent in several things than I do. But listen, that's what I want to talk about. So Heather mentioned it several times. We've had you have the privilege of having you on the Grease and Gears Garage stage because of the skill level that you bring with metal shaping specifically. And I mean, like from flat metal in a beater bag the whole way through, like the best machinery. And tell us where this is going with this new deal with Buffalo Chip.
Well, really the start of it, as far as moving out here to the Buffalo Chip, that I've shared it with friends in the past, but I've never really made it public. How life changes and you go through these peaks and valleys, and just sometimes everything gets turned upside down, and that's kind of what I went through over the last few years. And I ended up in a really small town, rural community, which is where I needed to be for a little while to kind of try to get my head straight and figure things out. And but I got to the point that I just needed to make a change and make a move, right or wrong. I had looked at Southern California, I looked at Arizona, I looked at Austin, Texas area. I even looked at Milwaukee for a while, to just try to relocate and kind of start over. But the reality of it was that I just didn't have the resources to make that kind of move. Move myself, move my business, and and find a home. And during the rally last year, the building that Sturgis Guns was located in for maybe a year was, for the most part, vacant. And it just made me start thinking, in the last 20 years of my life, the one thing that has been consistent, that I've always looked forward to and has always happened, is being part of the Sturgis Rally. Before I was in the industry, while I was in the industry, and as I've come out of and tried to come back into the industry, that being out here for the rally is something that that was the one thing that was consistent for the last 2 decades of my life. And I just I had the opportunity to meet with Woody towards the end of the rally, and he and I talked, and I just basically said, here's where I'm at, Woody. I've been looking to do different things, and I need a change. And I said, what does it look like for a guy like myself to relocate and take his business and live and breathe at the Buffalo Chip? And he's like, what do you need? We'd be happy to have you. And it was really kind of that easy to start the conversation. And, he and I threw around some ideas as far as me coming up with a size building that I thought I needed, and potentially putting a new building up on the grounds specifically for me to relocate to. And he asked me, he said, well, how soon do you think you'd be ready to move? And I'm like, I'm ready to move now. I said, if there was a place for me to be that I thought I could make it work, I'm just in that point where I need a big change to just kickstart myself again, literally, figuratively, however you want to put it. And then we started talking about this building that I moved into. It's really a brand new building. It's a beautiful building. It's beyond my means and my resources, really, but it was vacant. So,
and
is
that where you're doing the school and everything? And is everything happening there?
Yeah. I'm in this building, and I'm working here. I live here, doing the classes here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so we're kind of winging it. I'm in this building now. I don't know, if I'll permanently be in this building.
Yeah. You don't have a
the
far drive
classes
to get
that-
to Sturgis, then that works out.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, when I need some exercise and need to get outside, I just go on a walkabout.
Yeah. God, you have all the
Go.
room in the world for that out there, right?
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely a little bit different out here off season. Obviously,
Oh, yeah,
it's
beautiful out
very
there.
very quiet. You know, my family actually chose to come out here and spend Christmas with me
Oh, that's awesome.
for several days, and we all loaded up in a vehicle, and I kind of drove them around the property to show them everything and
Yeah.
where everything's at. And, you know, we watched a herd of like 15 deer, you know, hanging out
Right.
in the campground.
That's cool.
So yeah, it this place once the people leave, it goes back to nature.
Yeah, right.
There is staff here that's year round. I think they've got probably close to 20 people as far as year round staff that, you know, are taking care of. You know, there's the groundskeepers that are repairing, replacing, and building stuff new.
What?
I mean, they're building and changing stuff obviously for 2020 out here. And the staff is working on, you know,
I said one of my
on all
favorite
of the logistics. So
times in Sturgis ever was like 2 weeks after I was out there with Charlie from the Wall of Death and all those guys, and dude, it was fantastic. So it was probably my favorite Sturgis ever.
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to experience the Black Hills and you really want to enjoy riding through the Black Hills,
Yeah, that's the time. to go.
shame on me.
Yeah.
Don't do it during the rally.
And you're 100% right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's probably
yeah.
one of the best times to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful place out here, beautiful part of the country, and you know, there's part of me that wanted to live out here for a long time.
Yeah.
When I used to work for the state of South Dakota, you know, a lifetime ago, I serviced radio towers out here, and so I've been on just about every peak
Yeah.
out here in the Black Hills on radio towers, and you know, seeing for miles and miles and seeing how beautiful it is out here. So there's a part of me that's always wanted to be out here, and you know,
Well, that's
I've
cool.
That's
just
awesome.
I've been afforded the opportunity to try it. So
Right on. So now you're offering classes in your new facility. You tell us how that's going to work, and just give us the whole rundown.
well, like everything, kind of winging it. I've been throwing shit against the wall for the last 4 or 5 years since we got six, and this endeavor is really no different. But I did have my first class here in December. I taught a couple guys in my last shop, which was just basically a little 2-stall garage, and they were both individuals, just one-on-one type thing. And so it was really not a place where I could have people to have a class. I've done classes in other people's shops, and I've done classes with Bailey Industrial, but really this is my first opportunity to try to do it in my own shop, and you know, structure the class the way I want to do it, teach the skills that I have and the methods that I use for metal shaping. Just because it's like any craft, one guy will do it one way, and one guy will do it another way. So I don't ever say that there's a right or wrong, as long as you get the end result. And
You know, I kind of
that's
the
way you
thing
do
I'm
it, so.
the thing I'm really starting to dig about metal shape, and the more I'm getting into it, is that fact, is that, you know, there's no, like, you know, you have to have the science of, like, and I mean, there's certain rules, certain rules that you got to follow, and, like, you know, one of them is if you go too far, there's no coming back from it, but you learn that one pretty damn quick on your own. But I like that. I like that kind of, you know, everything's liquid and just moving, and like I dig that, you know.
Yeah, there's the physics of the material that, you know, that it is what it is. I mean, you know, the physics don't cease to exist in anybody's shop. I mean, some things just are the way they are.
Right.
But there's definitely different methods and skills, and you know, the more than one way to skin a cat analogy certainly applies, you know.
Yeah.
I've taught with some people, and I've learned from some people that are very opinionated in their ways, and you know, it's either their way or no way. But I'm certainly not that kind of guy. I've always been able to pick things that I can relate to from other people I've learned from. It's like, yeah, that totally makes sense to me. That's how I'm going to do it. or this guy teaches a certain method. It's like, yep, that makes sense to me. That's how I'm going to do it. And that's kind of the way I approach it. When I start the class, I tell everybody, I'm teaching you the ways that I do things. That doesn't mean it's the only way or necessarily the best way or the most efficient way.
Well, I've actually gone, just being on stage with you and between, there's 3 people. We've worked with a lot of people in this industry and messed around. When you're teaching somebody something, it falls out of you. It's so easy. It's comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Will Rams is
Absolutely.
the same way. Within 5 minutes on that stage, I learned more from you. Aaron Green was another one.
Yeah.
You're so smooth and you're so easy, and you let that feeling come out while you're showing somebody something like, listen, I'm going to give you the start. This is the outlook you're looking for. And then you let somebody take their chance, take their shot at it, and you'll tell them, well, this won't work for you. This will. You're super easy to work with. That's fantastic.
Well, I know both of those guys, and I respect both of them for, the work that they do. So I appreciate
2 of the greats,
being
hands
grouped
down.
with them. But how I can relate basically the way I teach, and that if you felt the same from them, really, I think it just boils down to, I'm not going to speak for them, but it's probably very much the same that, when I'm sharing, I'm not looking to impress you.
Yeah. Right.
It's like that fuck you, I have enough friends.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to share with you.
Yeah,
And I want you to learn, and I want you to gain.
Yeah, you can
something
feel
from
that,
the
Joe.
experience.
You can feel that.
Yeah.
You pass that across. You're like you're helping. You're not showing off. You're not showing. You're like,
Joe, this was great because just as you said that, I had a flashback to my 9th grade metal shop teacher who would whip a hammer at you across the room if you weren't paying attention. That was awesome. You've just became the metal shop teacher.
I have all my digits.
Couple questions.
But yeah,
from,
that's the thing. And anybody that really enjoys the teaching process, they just want you to be able to embrace what they enjoy doing. And that's how I try to share it, is that this is something that's fun to do. It's not rocket science. You can do it with practice. Here's how I do it. If you have questions, if you have suggestions, you think, well, why do you want to do it that way? Why wouldn't you do it this way? I'll say, okay, let me finish it, and then we'll try it your way. Maybe we'll both learn something.
Mm-hmm.
If I come away from teaching a class and I didn't learn something, I didn't try.
Yeah, right.
I'm definitely always looking for some little nugget to come out of a class, even when I'm the one that's doing the talking. So it's fun. I enjoy doing it, and hopefully going to be able to do more of them out here.
Right on. A couple questions from Facebook, from social media in general. Number one, who are your inspirations? And that's from Anthony Robinson, and he's wondering if Gene Winfield is one of them. And then another one is, how did you get started in metal shaping?
Well, we'll start with the first part of that question. As far as inspirations, currently there are guys that I follow on social media who I've never met before. And there's a guy in India that I follow, a couple guys in Indonesia that I follow. And those guys are really an inspiration to me because they're doing it with the least amount of resources.
Yeah.
And here, and
impressive.
we all, I know I kind of went through a spell here recently, just dealing with my own kind of demons and depression and self-doubt and that kind of stuff. And I just had a moment of weakness, and I fell apart for a little bit. And I had to just, it's a process. You got to kind of have to continually remind yourself, how fortunate you are and what you've got going. And guys like that, really put me in my place, because there's one guy in India that I follow, and, he's even reached out to me and asked me, are you hiring? I'd love to come to America and learn metal shaping from more people that I follow in metal shaping, because where he's at, he customizes motorcycles, and it's actually illegal to customize. And he's teaching classes in his shop. And this guy has, I have the guy. If the guy was in my shop and had my resources, he'd probably, blow me out of the water as far as his skills. So there's those guys that give me perspective. That's probably one of the greatest things that come out of social media, is seeing, guys that do stuff like that and the resources they have or don't have. Hell, the same guy in India one time wanted to know if I could send him sandpaper, if I could ship him
Wow.
sandpaper, because it's hard to get sandpaper. He asked me questions about metal finishing and polishing, because he can't get sandpaper. And
You know,
I boxed up a bunch of sandpaper and sent it in a U.S. Postal Service box, but I'm going to assume he never got it because I never heard back or saw that he received it. So anyway, those are my inspirations now. Um, Guys like Gene Winfield, for sure. You know, I had the opportunity to meet Gene Winfield at SEMA years ago. Was able to meet Barris at SEMA. Being able to meet those guys that have, I may not have known who they were when I was a kid, but as I grew older and started to get more accustomed to, guys that were doing custom car work or custom motorcycle work, names became familiar, and was able to put names with faces and with, projects and vehicles that they've built. Interesting thing, just a little side thing about Gene Winfield. As a kid, I inherited all of my dad's car models that he built as a kid. So I had all of these 1950s and early 1960s plastic model cars that were made in the 50s and 60s that my dad had built
wow.
and rebuilt. And, I got all the boxes, I got all of the cars, I got all of the unused pieces, all of the water slide decals that he hadn't used. I mean, I got it all. I still have it all. Well, the car models back in that day, which, well, I guess they do it now. I mean, you could probably go out and find a car model that, was designed by Chip Foose. But back in the 50s, they were cars that were designed by the Barris brothers or Gene Winfield, and they actually came with like accessories or custom accessories where you could put, Frenched headlights on a 57 Chevy, or you could put a chop top, or you could put a custom rag top on a car, because you got these pieces that were designed by the designers of the time. Well, one year at SEMA, I took the instruction sheet for one of these projects that had the Barris brothers and had Gene Winfield, their photo and their bio kind of on the model assembly instructions. And I was able to get Barris to autograph it, and I was able to get Winfield to autograph it. Now Barris, he really didn't pay attention to what he was what he was autographing.
Yeah.
He had a handler that was just kind of mitigating who he was signing autographs for. But Gene Winfield was, I think, in the PPG booth signing autographs, and I gave that to him, and I just kind of slid it in front of him, and he looked at it, and it just stopped him for a second. He looked up at me, and he looked down at the paper, and he was just staring at it, and he said, "Where in the hell did you get this?" And he looked back up on me and just had this blank look on his face, and I told him kind of the same abbreviated story of how I had it. And so,
and it's probably the little things that, that guy, it's something small like that people don't even look back and recognize, you know what I mean? But you being from the industry, you being, having that in your past, it's probably pretty cool for him to actually see that. When I looked at those as a kid, I didn't know who Gene Winfield was. I didn't know who the Barris brothers were. It wasn't until later in life that, I'm going through this box of my dad's car models, and I'm paging through these old instructions, and I'm like, holy shit, I know these guys. And it didn't mean anything to me, 20, 30 years before. But yeah, That's
but
funny,
for sure,
though.
those guys like a Winfield are definitely people that inspire.
Yeah, it's funny.
And the fact that the guy has got to be 90.
Yeah. Like you're saying though, you looked at this when you were a kid, or you were around this stuff when you were a kid. This is the little things that inspired you to take that next move.
Oh, hell
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
And if I'm going to source of inspiration as far as in the motorcycle world, the guy that I kind of look at his bikes, and that I hope one day I build something it is of the caliber of what he does as far as a craftsman, would be Billy Westbrook.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Yeah, and he's and being an FXR guy and digging FXRs. I mean, he was kind of the king, if not the king, of true custom FXRs.
I actually thought of you the other day. I was reaching for something in my shop and wiped some dust off my FXR. I thought and I was like, man, I should take a picture and send it to Joe. That poor thing's just sitting there collecting dust. It's great. It's in a great spot. But every time I see that bike, I think of you.
Well, I've got one that's collecting dust because I lost it in a divorce.
Oh.
But I still have possession of it. I'm waiting for this.
Way to go, Mark.
Wife of mine to
Way
figure
to-
stuff out.
Or just find a way to upset Joe.
Hey,
That's it.
when I asked you,
Hey, no, I'm not upset. That's water under the bridge. I'm just waiting until the next time that I can get my own.
Hey, so I have a question about this real quick, man. And I'm kind of leading because I think I know where this goes, only from personal experience. But when you're doing stuff like this, one of the benefits that we notice from doing stuff and coming up with ideas and pushing for content when we do Grease and Gears Garage, we get almost as much out of that. Like paying attention to what the steps are when you're passing them to someone else is almost a process that fortifies your own knowledge in something, and you walk away with as much as the people in the class do sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the things that really how that affects me, I guess, when I'm teaching is some of the things that I share that I might take for granted. That it's that everybody knows this.
Right.
Everybody should already know how to do this. So I try to make sure that I'm sharing the things that I might, that I might take for granted, which makes me kind of search within myself and think about things that maybe I'm not as good at as I'd like to be, or things that, I've always said I'd like to try or I'd like to be better at. And it just makes me reflect and think about that kind of stuff.
Well, I've spent time on stage with you, obviously, Grease and Gear stuff, and then the few things I know doing the bowl, and you're laughing like I've done that before.
We still have that bowl.
Yeah, you're like, obviously you've done this before, but someone like me, to have someone like you with your caliber of knowledge in this to reassure that you're just sort of in the right angle, still would be super interested in taking the class. What's it take to take the class? What do you have to go through to how do you get involved? How do you just contact you? Is there like a website or?
It's so far I've just offered up dates through my social media, through Instagram and Facebook. Honestly, the December class filled right up. Nobody signed up for January, but it's right after the first of the year and after holidays, so I'm not surprised. I have dates set for February. I have 2 guys that are registered for that. I'm doing a minimum of 4, a maximum of 6. Just because I feel that's a good number that everybody gets. Everybody gets my time, and everybody gets time on all the different pieces of equipment I have to share.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I've done it so far, is just through my social media. I really don't know how long there's going to be interest. It's not like it's an endless supply of potential students, but I'll continue to add dates and share them on my social media. If for some reason it got crazy, I might, have it as far as something on my website. But as of right now, people can reach out through my social media, on whether it's my Instagram, my Facebook, or my website. My personal email, my cell phone number is out there, and I don't hide any of that information. So I'm not too hard to get a hold of.
How long's the class? What's it entail?
But that'll be an evolving thing. But the ones that I did and the one I'm going to do, I had people come in Friday late afternoon, kind of for everybody to get acquainted with one another, to show them the shop, show them the tools, and kind of start the introductory part of the process. And then it's a all day Saturday, all day Sunday type of fair. So it works out to somewhere that 20 to 24 hours of class time over 2 days.
Nice.
That's
Well,
outstanding.
that sounds like something I'd like to do.
I think you might be surprised, Joe, at how much interest you
I'm
do
sure.
garner. I really do. I mean, just like you, new year, new skill, and you teach it in a multitude of different ways, and you're so open to how you teach it, and you're so receptive to learning new things. I think you may be really surprised at the level of interest.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I enjoy doing it, and I'd like to be able to do one a month when there's interest. But I, in in the last few years, I have definitely become a person that I absolutely do not count one single chicken until it's hatched.
Right.
So I'm optimistic, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I don't expect myself to fill a class every month. But if I
Right.
do, great. If not, I got other stuff I can and probably should do. But yeah, I do. I'm going to be teaching a class, hopefully with Bailey Industrial out in California in March. They've set up some dates, but I haven't seen anything come out yet through their social media as far as advertising it. So I'm not entirely sure what they're doing, but
So
the teaching side will always be part of what I do, I imagine.
let's talk about that for a minute, because you're a big proponent of Bailey Industrial and their equipment. What can you tell people about the difference with using Bailey tools over some of the other manufacturers that are out there?
Well, Bailey Industrial, they offer from total entry level to you've got a high end roadster shop type equipment. So that's one thing that they've really tried to be able to do in the last few years is be able to offer different levels that you could invest to at least outfit your shop. From a very entry level English wheel to a super high end English wheel that I can't afford. I'll probably never be able to afford. But if you're building a Riddler show car,
Yeah.
you have to have the best equipment too. So they do that, and they're definitely a company that has embraced the power of social media, and to not only promote their own company but to promote their customers and their people that have come to metal shaping classes and have started a relationship with Bailey. I ended up starting a relationship with Bailey soon after. Well, actually, I think before I left Clockworks, I had the opportunity to invest in some equipment for the shop. And I spent some money and got Clockworks a bead roller and a shear, I think. That was one of the last things that I did before I left. And so when I went on to start my own shop, I looked towards them to buy an English wheel. Then I eventually bought a planishing hammer, and through social media and contests, I got involved in a contest that they were doing and had fun with social media. And
Oh, dude, that was legendary. That was legendary. Like people,
but even
people will always talk about those videos you did for that contest. It was so badass.
Yeah, well, that was I had invested in some of their equipment already. I had actually gone and taken one of their metal shaping classes before that contest came around. But really, that was me, deciding, what, if I'm gonna make any sort of play at this, I need more resources.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw that as an opportunity. I said, what, have fun with this whole deal. Be the butt of your own joke. Don't pull any punches. Just have some fucking fun. And
yeah, you got to be able to laugh. You got to be able to laugh, man. At the end of the day,
So yeah, it was good.
Hey, and there's another thing. Not that I'm trying to turn this into a commercial for you, but I honestly owe you a debt of gratitude, because looking through the pictures as we're watching your photo collage go by, I see in the background the weld table from Certiflat, and I want to thank you for me and Mark.
Oh, yeah, man.
Because, dude, we still find new ways to use that table every single time. Every time we have a project, we find a new way to use that table. We just built a couple fixtures for twisting spokes for the wheels that we make, and we made those fixtures specifically to bolt to that table. That table is so awesome, and you were the one that hooked us up with that company, man. I super appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's not been anything that I've ever really advertised, but I've actually been working for that company, almost since day one of starting my own gig. When I was writing the FXR Spotlight for you, and I was writing the Snap Fab column for Hot Bike, I was looking for, resources and looking for companies to kind of try to align myself with, and Weld Tables was one of the first ones. I met the owner, Dave, not long after I went out on my own, and he was willing to support me in what I was doing right away, and I helped them kind of initiate their social media. Their Instagram page, I started that, and I contribute to it daily. So that's a company that, like I said, I've been working with them and for them for years. Some people don't. Some people know this. A lot of people don't. I spent like 4 months in Minnesota this summer working, and while I was working for Weld Tables, I actually they had been asking me to come work for them for a couple years, but I'm like, I don't want a job.
Right.
I don't want a boss. But we decided we'd give it a try. But working for him in that capacity wasn't the right place for me. I think I did some good things for them while I was there, but I'm back to doing what I was doing for him before, as far as social media, and just recently launched a YouTube channel that's specifically for Weld Tables, and going to be hoping to continue to add content to that. Started a shovelhead project that is going to be specifically just for creating YouTube content.
Well, hey, listen, speaking of your writing prowess and all this different stuff that you have going on, there's an open door here with Cycle Source, with Grease and Gears Garage. Like any of the stuff that you want to do, do you want to do a column and start putting some of the stuff that you're doing out of SnapFab? You need a home for some of those videos. We're more than happy to run them on the show here, or run them through Grease and Gears Garage TV. Like, we've always appreciated your contribution. So please let us know about that, man. You got an open door.
I appreciate the offer. I do.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, we're gonna cut you loose. We don't want to hold you all night here, but thanks again. And like I said, dude, one of our favorite conversations. I hope that in some capacity, one of us, me or Mark, can actually come and take this class, because honest to God, like even the stuff, the little bit of stuff that we started picking up off you from being on stage, we've done incredible things. I know Xavier was just on too and said, you gave him his first hammer, because Joe makes a whole line of his own hammers, his own panel hammers. And like he said that, thank you so much for launching him on it, because he's doing stuff now too, man. He's, hand forming his own tanks, and like,
my confession on the hammer would be, the first one I got is still sitting on my bar. Dude, they're so nice.
They are.
They're pretty enough to actually just sit there. The other one I use.
They just make dents.
Right on.
No,
man.
if it would ever work out that you guys would be here for a class, that'd be awesome. And see, if you both get in the van, you can just deadhead and be here within a day. You don't have to.
Well, and I think that's what we got to do too. I think that's what we got to do. And you know what we'll do, man, is like we'll make a whole thing out of it. Like we'll bring some gear and we'll just do Grease and Gears Garage from your place. You know what I mean? And like and go through a class and
two things. Number one, it would be fantastic to sit and learn more from you, and then just to sit and hang out with you would be fantastic in all reality. So
yeah, off season in Sturgis. I've been there a couple times for that. It's awesome.
I agree with Joe. That's the best way to see Sturgis in the Black Hills.
Hands down. And I never even thought about it until with Charlie the one day, hey, let's go grab something to eat. And it took us like 4 hours to get to town. And we went everywhere, and it was so nice because we saw everything in like 4 hours. It was great.
You can't replace the party and seeing all your friends during the rally, but if you want to come out and ride,
man,
that's the place.
Come out in September.
I want to come out sometime in the absolute dead of winter and go hunting. Go old fashioned, like archery in the dead of winter. Like I really, really want to do that sometime.
I will stay home. You can have a guys' weekend.
We're trying to plan a party out here at the Chip. I want to do an open house and just be able to invite people to come out, see where I'm at and see what I'm up to, and and experience the Chip off season and see what it's like. So There hasn't been any information released as far as a date, but hopefully something's going to come together. It's going to be more than just, me having an open house and having milk and cookies. This is the Buffalo Chip. It is the greatest party
How
anywhere.
about
So you can be guaranteed there will be a party.
How about snowmobiles and Jack Daniels? Now we're
There you go.
Yep.
What could happen? How could that go bad?
What's the worst thing that can happen?
How could that go bad?
Frostbite.
All right.
So before
Enough Jack
we
Daniels will cure that.
before we let you go, I've posted links to your website and to your social media, but tell everybody where they can find you, please.
Instagram is probably where I'm most active. My personal account is Sodak, Sodak, Big Joe, and my business account is Snap Fabrications. And I'm also known as Soda K, Big Joe, because some people don't know what Sodak is, so I'm called Soda K.
Soda K, that's funny.
Soda K, Big Joe. Yeah.
Oh,
That's what all the street kids call them.
Soda K.
Soda K.
Soda K.
All right, man. Well, listen, again, thank you so much for being here with us, dude. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Don't forget you have a platform whenever you need it.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and glad it worked out. And yeah,
Yes,
next
sir.
time you have somebody that's unavailable, give me a call.
Right on.
I'm here. I'm pretty boring. I don't do anything much other than work. So
No, you're learning new stuff and you're teaching new stuff. That's not boring. That's
Right.
inspiration. You're inspiring people every day,
I'm-
so keep
yeah, but-
doing it.
but I am self-deprecating too, so that's why I say it.
Have you been talking to my daughter?
Oh, Jesus. All right, man. Well, stay warm as you can out there, and we'll be hooked up with you soon.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
Yeah, we're all good. Yep.
All
Be
right.
well, everybody.
All right, buddy. Later on.
Bye.
Hey guys, I want to remind you that this is Shop Talk, coming to you every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Tourney Studio, with 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit. Some news, some entertainment. We have a guest or two. We talk about motorcycle people doing motorcycle shit. All of it we call a little show that's Shop Talk. That's. I'm coming down with a cold. Do you hear
You
this?
are.
It's happening right before my very eyes. I'm literally like.
Whatever. Get over it. Shit needs done.
You know, I have
No.
to say, for somebody as talented as Joe, and he is multi-talented, between the tools he makes and the metal shaping and now his artwork, apparently, to hear him, like he said, he's self-deprecating.
Yeah.
It's so surprising because he has so much to offer, and he
Right.
is an inspiration to people. And I hope he truly knows that he inspires people every day. Like even last year again, thanks to social media, we know everything about everybody, but he went on this tremendous fitness journey last year
Yep.
and really got himself into shape, and he inspired people through that. So I mean,
But you know what,
keep
man?
going.
You're never going to change the fact that always, like, some of the most beautiful art comes from the most painful
Painful.
times
True.
Oh,
in
you're not
someone's
kidding.
life,
very true.
That's it. Yeah, some of the greatest beauty in the world comes from some of the worst pain.
Hey, man, so we're going to take 2 minutes here real quick and go through a couple points of interest for the show, do some business, and we'll be right back with you with more Shop Talk. All right, just another one of the great programs that's available on Chopper Town. Man, I can't say enough about this network. It's awesome that they have us on there, but they also have Charlie Brechtel's show all the time, which you don't want to miss tomorrow because Xavier Muriel and Robert Wagner from the Black Smoke Sinners are going to be on. My bandmates are going to be on tomorrow morning with Charlie. He's actually interviewing them because we have our first original Sinner's Prayer is going to be included in his movie, his brand new movie. But Chopper Town's so much more than just a social media site, so much more than just the talk show, our talk show, Charlie's. Gina Woods is on there with Open Road Radio. Tons and tons of information, tons of great, introspective programs like you just saw there. Go check them out through Facebook, Chopper Town. We've been talking about all the time we're spending in the shop, and it's been awesome. That's what I love about winter, getting back to the shop and doing the things that are the reason why we're here talking, the reason why we have a magazine, the reason for any of this bullshit.
Yeah, it's one big fat circle and a lot of work, but we enjoy it.
Something that I got to do that I know you were crazy jealous that
I
you
wanna
couldn't
talk
be
about-
here for. I have to. Dude, we've been waiting since these cats got named
this is cool
Shop
shit.
Product of the Year. We've been waiting for the Banks Lift brothers to be here, and they were here
Dude,
just
I
the
keep
other
forgetting
day.
that they're local. Like
I know.
I keep forgetting that they're like right here.
And listen, what was crazy about that, man, is like I kind of knew they were local. They showed up, and we know everybody that they know. They were like two regular Pittsburgh jack-offs that just like we started busting balls like Pittsburgh guys do, and it was on,
it's a
man.
tough
It
crowd
was,
around here.
It was awesome. But this is a real quick promo I'm going to show you guys. We actually have an entire hour-long program from the day that they were here that's coming out this week. But this is a promo from it real quick. Check it
Shop
out.
product this year went to the Banks Lift, and at the time, man, it was just like a product we came across, and it was wicked cool. Turns out these guys are from right down the road from us, so we're lucky today to have Tom and George Banks, the infamous Banks brothers, in the house with the Banks Lift. They're going to show us all about this thing. We're actually going to pull this Evo motor, Missy's tired-ass old Evo motor. We're going to pull it out today using the Banks Lift.
Usually Evo clamps on this one. What we do is basically spread them apart, bring it into the power plant like so.
Where these hind joints are giving us the movement that we need.
See, that's the...
Okay, that was what changed everything with the lift.
Okay.
And there you have it.
Look at that.
Go ahead. Yeah, buddy.
Dude, it was so badass.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your 2019 Cycle Source Magazine Reader's Choice for Shop Product of the Year, the Banks Lift.
How do you like my hillbilly engine stand there? You like that?
Rebecca just said Tom and George are great guys, and she's not kidding. They were
absolutely.
a blast to hang out with.
Absolutely. Listen, when I say they were two regular Pittsburgh jackoffs, that's a compliment where we live.
Oh, you're
like
not
that's
kidding.
saying he was one of the guys. He was
And
a
I'll tell
good
you,
fella.
we have a lot of people come around, a lot of people work, come and mess with us, and they have trouble understanding. I guess it's the mill, it's the industrial lifestyle that we've grown up with or something.
Yep.
But man, we are tough to work with. So you better bring
buddy.
your A game. That's all I have to say.
Anthony Robinson just said he's excited about that. He's not a spring chicken anymore. And like I said, it's so badass. And I legitimately mean that. It is so cool. And it was so fast.
Yeah.
Like the way it worked.
And listen, not just the old thing, because we talked about as you're getting older, picking up whole Sportster motor and transmission, whole motors anymore, like that starts to be a pain in the ass. But when you really think about the fact that now the gravity of picking up a 1936 knucklehead engine and just hoisting it up to a frame, and the condition that frame might be in, these are parts that you don't just want to take a chance that you're going to screw something up on. So having a tool like this is just it's
And
good
on
practice.
top of that fact, we go through a lot of the stuff that we build, and I know everybody, Will Ramsey and Pat from Lead Sled, and just everybody that's involved in this industry. When you do take all the time to do that really nice work on these frames and these engines, when you go to put them into place, just the comfort of knowing that you have that stability of it not banging around or is huge. I mean, one chip in a frame that you just spent 20 hours painting is it's horrible.
Well, and you can do it with one person, correct?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the thing about
I mean,
it.
that's huge.
Yep. Once they got me comfortable with it, we actually put Missy's motor back in,
And then-
and they
yeah.
had me do it myself. And like literally, you can sit there, one person alone in the shop, and you can take a motor out, move it across the shop, set it down on whatever your table, your bench, whatever you're working on. And you can do it by yourself, man. You don't have to wait. The way that we do it, chopper ways, is we always took the motor and laid it out sideways, and put it, you stack stuff up, wood and magazines and everything else,
Whatever it has.
and then lay the frame over top of it, which is great. But you need 3 guys to do that,
Yeah.
So just a really good product, man. We can't thank them enough for spending the time here. So, hey, coming down to the end of the hour, I just want to take a minute and go over the fact that you guys, your comments, your concerns, your questions are never ignored here on Shop Talk. You can see all down the side there. We've been watching them throughout the show. Pass them on as much as we can. We got some good feedback throughout the show. You guys love Joe. We do too. Some great guests coming up in the next month, man. We got some killer
I'm
stuff,
very
right?
excited.
I need one of those to get my old lady on the bike.
Who was it? Who said that?
Oh, where's that?
Where's it at?
Gary Michaels? Gary Michaels. Is that what it is?
Gary Michaels. Or Gary Macias.
Is that what it is?
Gary Macias. I need one
Oh
of those
my
to get
God,
my old
that's
lady on the
fantastic.
bike. Dude.
Anyway, so next week is a big show. It is our 100th
Yeah,
episode
buddy.
of Shop Talk. We really want to hear from you guys, who you want to talk to. Who do you want us to have on the show?
Yep.
Send us a message, throw a comment up.
But beyond that one, talk about some of the guests that are coming up, because
Yeah.
you nailed down some really, really good people. Heather's been working her ass off to get us a little ahead on the. No, Jason Sims, we're not giving the bank lifts away. Back the hell off. You got my gloves from Motion Pro last week. That was it.
Yeah, he's definitely not giving up that baby. That's for damn sure. So coming up I'm super excited about this one. January 26th, we are going to be graced with the presence of Emma Garvin from the
This is so
Sturgis
cool.
Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And whoever is watching the show that night, are going to be the first people to know who is being inducted into the 2020 Motorcycle Hall of Fame. So I am so excited about that show. So that's on January 26th. The following week, we have Chris Graves.
Wait a minute. Just stop for 1 second.
What?
Because you said it, but I'm not sure it sunk in. Do you guys understand that, like, this is going to be the first place in the entire world that people know who is going to be in the Hall of Fame in Sturgis this year?
Yeah, that's
this
cool
is the
stuff.
first place. Like, we're actually breaking that news for the entire world.
Totally pulled a rabbit out of my hat on that
so
one.
awesome. So awesome.
No, she was very gracious and very excited to join us. So I'm really excited about that. That's a big deal.
It is.
That's like a real big deal. Following that is going to be Chris Graves from Fast Eddie Company.
Nice.
If you guys remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about, actually, it was our Christmas show, talked about some of the specialty Harley tools that he's making that are super high quality, built to last. He's going to be joining us. The week after that, we have Lisa Ballard, the brains behind Chop Cult,
Yep.
is going to be joining us.
So awesome. Lisa and Dwayne both longtime friends of the magazine, friends of the show. Like, they do incredible work out on the left coast. So check this out. I think this is the idea. So John Bugkiller Baker, who successfully named at least one of our dogs, I think he came up with the 100 show idea.
Really?
A call-in show.
Ooh.
So how about if we say this now? We'll announce this now, and we're gonna actually pump this all week, man. A call-in show. Tell everybody. We're gonna put the number up. We're gonna make sure you guys are ready. But get your questions, get your comments. We're gonna make an entire call-in show for our 100th episode, so you guys can be the star of the show. You can be more of what we're doing for the whole 100th episode.
I think that's awesome. But all y'all can't be shy. Every time we do a call-in show,
Yeah, nobody calls.
you keyboard commandos go, "Whoop,
Yeah, right?
get over it. It's just a phone call."
Yeah, there are no stupid questions. We'll make fun of you.
Oh, there
but
are-
It's not like
no
it's going to be
stupid
Skype.
questions.
You can do it from your skivvies in your living room. We don't
Hello.
care.
Listen,
All right, we'll wear our skivvies and
There
No,
are
no, no,
stupid
no, no,
questions.
not you.
There are stupid questions. We're counting on
put
it.
my heart on
We're
these
counting
going
on it.
Most of the stupid questions come from us.
Well,
And there will
that's
definitely
very
be
true.
stupid answers.
No, you're not.
Those usually come from us.
I practice those.
Right on, man. Well, listen, it looks like I think we did about everything we came here to do. We're 4 minutes away from being 120 minutes solid, so I want to thank you guys one more time for hanging out with us, letting us hang out with you, letting us into your headspace and your homes. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, check out the Charlie Brechtel Show on the Chopper Town Network.
What time?
I think it's 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Oh, that's 11 here. We'll be awake.
Yeah. So make sure you check out Charlie's show tomorrow. As always, check out everybody on that whole network because it's awesome. And keep your eyes peeled for all the details coming up to our 100th episode. Call in show. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell everybody. We want a lot of calls. We want to jam the airwaves, man. So this is your chance to get in on it. And
Can you tell them if they dig the show what is like the most helpful thing they could do?
go ahead. You tell them.
Share. I know your mom has taught you how to share.
You mean
so
share like I got you, babe?
share- no,
that's what I
share
was
the
thinking.
show.
I almost pulled out my Sonny Bono haircut.
Oh, go ahead. Do it. Do it. Duo right there. Sing it. Break it out, guys.
Oh boy, I'd probably make a better Cher hairdo than Sonny Bono hairdo, but
Oh my God. It's ice cream time, John Baker says.
oh boy.
All right, that's it for us. We're going to pull this one into the station again. Thank you, guys. Make sure you check us out. And remind everyone, Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live with 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. A little program we like to call Shop Talk. Until next week, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
See ya.
Can the dogs be on the show next week?
We can have the dogs on the show. That'll be awesome. Maybe we'll have Missy, too. Maybe we'll have Missy's dog. Maybe Missy could be me with a picture of the dog.